How's it going, guys? Today, before we start our video, I just want to say a big thank you to anyone who's reached out to me personally, letting me know that my channel and my videos have been helpful in their interview preparation. I've actually had a lot of people reach out to me recently, letting me know that they've received offers from places like Facebook and Google, and that my videos are really helpful in their preparation for those interviews. So first off, congratulations to you guys, and secondly, that's the whole reason I made this channel. I felt like when I first started interviewing at these different companies, there was no good resource online that made these problems both understandable and entertaining, and so that's really what I'm trying to do. I really want you guys to be able to get the jobs that I couldn't, because it's possible, and it's not that hard in reality, I think. So I'm super happy that you guys have gotten those offers, and let's get more people offers just like you did. So with that being said, let's get into our video for today. So today, guys, we're going to go over the third most frequently asked question according to LeetCode at Google, and this question is called license key formatting. Our problem description says you are given a license key represented as a string which consists only of alphanumerical characters and dashes. The string is separated into n+1 groups by n dashes. Given a number k, we want to reformat the string such that each group contains exactly k characters, except for the first group, which could be shorter than k, but still must contain at least one character. Furthermore, there must be a dash inserted between two groups, and all lowercase characters should be converted to uppercase. So given a non-empty string s and a number k, format the string according to the rules described above. That's a mouthful. So if we go through an example, hopefully it'll make a little bit more sense. So if we're given a string s and a number k, we want to return this. And the explanation says the string s has been split into two parts. Each part has 4 characters. Note that the 2 extra dashes are not needed and can be removed. So long story short, we're taking a string and reformatting it based on a couple different rules. And how are we going to do this? So I think the big hint in this problem, and I think in a lot of interview questions there are hints, I think the big hint here is this line. Given a number k, we want to reformat the string such that each group contains exactly k characters except for the first group, which could be shorter than k. So to me, that's basically saying we should work backwards. So what we should do is we should iterate through the string number given backwards and try and group k characters together and then insert a dash between them and then kind of continue until we've gone through the whole string. So I think that's the general idea that we want to follow. And now what are the different cases that we really care about and that we need to address? So the first case is if we are on a dash in our string s. And to me, that doesn't really mean much because we don't really care about dashes until we've grouped k characters together. So if we're on a dash, we're just kind of going to ignore it for now. So that's the first case. The second case is if we've actually already found k characters and grouped them together, we want to insert a dash. And once we've inserted a dash, we need to somehow account for the next k characters, right? We need to somehow count those characters. Okay, that's the second case. Now the third case is going to be when we just have a number, right? And if we just have a number or a letter in this case, we need to convert it to uppercase and then somehow account for, okay, this is contributing towards our k characters for this current grouping. So if we can adhere to those 3 different things, I think we could solve this problem pretty easily. And once we've built up that new string, all we have to do is return it. So let's start jumping into this code and hopefully it'll make more sense as we go. So the first thing that we want to do is we need something to return, right? So our function our function returns a string. So we're going to be doing a lot of string operations here, so it's probably efficient to use a string builder. So we're going to say string builder result equals new string builder. Cool. So now what do we want to do next? So we said we want to have a count and we want to start from the back of our string. So we're going to make 2 variables to account for those things. So we're going to say int count equals 0. And again, this is just going to count how many characters that we've added to our current group before we get k characters, right? Because when we have k characters, we need to insert a dash. Now the next thing we want is just a pointer so that we can kind of iterate through our string backwards. So we're going to say int I equals s.length -1. So we're pointing at the last character to begin with. And now we said simply, okay, we need to iterate through our entire string s. So we're going to say, wow, we haven't iterated through our whole string. So while I is greater than or equal to 0, we still have some work to do. So what do we need to do? Well, the first thing we need to do is get the character, and then we need to evaluate what should we do based off the value of that character. So we're going to say character current equals, and we're just going to take care of some of the work now. We said that all characters need to be converted to uppercase, right? So we could just say character dot to uppercase, and then we just need to get our current character. So we could just say s.char at I. Cool. So now we have our current character, and it's converted to uppercase. So now let's just take care of those 3 different cases. So the first case we said is if our character is a dash, we just want to ignore it because we're going to keep track of how many characters we have, and once we have enough characters, we'll insert the dash on our own. So if current is equal to a dash, we're just going to decrement our count because we said we're going to kind of ignore dashes that we're on. We're going to take care of the counting on our own. Cool. So now the next case we need to take care of is basically if we have reached that count of k characters, then we need to insert a dash into our string builder. So we're going to say else if our count is not equal to 0, so it doesn't get triggered on the very first iteration of this loop in theory, or potentially. So if it's not equal to 0 and count mod k is equal to 0, which just means if our count is currently divisible by k, and if it is, that means that we currently have a grouping of k characters. So what we want to do, we said, is just insert a dash, right? So we're going to say result.insert, and we're going to insert it at the 0th element, right? The very first thing, because we're building this backwards, right? We're iterating through this backwards. So we're going to say result.insert 0, and we're going to insert a dash, if I can type. Cool, so now that we've actually accounted for the k characters and we've inserted a dash, we need to make sure that we reset our counter. Okay, so we're going to say count equals 0 again, and then we're going to again decrement the pointer that we have, right? So we move to the next character. Now finally, the last thing that we want to account for is if we're just on a character, right? So we're going to say else. What we want to do is we want to say result.insert again at the 0th position our current character, and then what we want to do is account for that character, right? So we want to add that character to however many characters that we have in our count, so we know, when to add that next dash. And then again, we want to decrement our count here. Wait a second. Sorry. We don't want to decrement here because if we're on a case where we're actually on a character, but we have a grouping of k characters, we don't want to skip that character. So we're not going to decrement our count here. Sorry. So again, just to recap, if our current character is a dash, we're going to ignore it and just move to the next character. Otherwise, if we've found a grouping of k characters, we're going to just simply insert a dash. But again, we're not going to decrement the value of I so that we don't skip a character that we're currently pointing to. And finally, otherwise, we just want to add that character to our string builder, increment the count so that we accounted for it in our group of k characters, and then we want to decrement the count here. So now finally, once this loop finishes, guys, all we have to do is return our string builder turned into a string because that's what the function returns. So we're going to say return result.toString. And let's make sure that this works. Oh. And this is supposed to be capital K. Sorry. Awesome, and it looks like it does. So guys, if you guys found this video helpful, do me a favor, leave it a like and subscribe to the channel for more. If you guys have anything I could do to help you guys with your interviews coming up, be sure to leave a comment below, and I will see you guys next time.